You were at the mic for Mr. November as well, right?
Yes.
I know where I was for that moment. You were at the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I was underneath the stadium getting ready to run out on the field with the entirety of the national media. Again, I was doing ESPN Radio, which meant I was like third in line behind the ESPN rights holder and the Fox rights holder.
So you were getting the Yankee bat boy.
Well, I was basically right there. Honestly, I remember I was in this tunnel, and to my left, this is the old Yankee Stadium, there was this small room that looked like, Babe Ruth probably had a beer inside at one point in time. There's a small TV that we couldn't see what was on it. And we had to change locations each half inning because there was only one entrance to the field, as you know,
right?
And it would be through the dugout of the winning team because the losing team needed to use that egress to get back to their locker room. So with each half inning, we were running from one side of the stadium to the other, and it looked like the Benny Hill show,
right?
Where we were all running with cameras and lights and EMT technicians and running from one thing to another. And I just remember hearing go, 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 a rumble above me. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. They said Jeter just hit a home run. And I get out there finally, there's people behind me pushing me out onto the field. And I remember getting out there and looking up the stadium that I grew up in. At the very top, people are just throwing things and jumping up and down as Jeter's rounding third. I'll never forget it. Now, please tell me your perspective of that moment.
Well, I actually have a story about being in the bowels of a stadium and not knowing what's going on.
Okay.
I was covering for the New York Post the 1986 World Series. So we're underneath Shea Stadium.
Oh, boy.
And there's no TV. And we're waiting outside the Red Sox clubhouse to go in for the celebration. And we just feel the stadium shaking and shaking, and we have no idea what's going on. Then, in an instant, we see three men carrying Mrs. Yawkey out horizontally to the ground.
The owner
of the Red Sox, who was there to receive the trophy. Well, there was not any trophy that day. So my job for the Post was to get sidebars on the Red Sox side.
What do you mean she's being carried out? Like
she was carried out like she was very old, and they literally carried her out of the... So we're watching the owner of the Red Sox being carried out, and then the Red Sox are trudging in, and we just know that they lost. We have no idea how they lost, and now we have to go and ask questions.
Oh, my God.
So we're standing there.
No frame of reference.
What happened to Bob Stanley? Calvin Sherrod? Well, we had no idea.
You didn't go up to Buckner, did you?
We talked to Buckner eventually, yeah. And we talk about flying blind. You're in a plane, and they've shut the radar off, and go land the plane.
Oh, my God. I've never heard that story.
Yeah. And the Mr. November angle.
Yes.
That's Mike Breen is famous for, double bangs. He's only had 5 of them.
Yes.
That was my only triple see ya.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because, I'm so clever. The only thing I could scream was, see ya, Mr. He is Mr. November.
Because it was like 12:01 or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I looked up at the clock and I said, oh, it's November. This is in my head.
Yes.
As if he hits a home run, I'll say Mr. November. And then there was a guy in the stands, as I said, who held up a sign that said Mr. November.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know.
Somebody brings their own arts and crafts set up to Yankee Stadium.
Maybe people just assumed that it was going to happen. It was going to be November, but who knew it would be an extra inning game?
What a game that was.
Who did you interview then?
I didn't get Jeter. I don't recall who I interviewed. I don't remember that. I wish I did. I'm sure it's archived somewhere, but I didn't. I definitely didn't get Jeter. I would have remembered that.
Well, you were third in line.
I was third in line. Hey, man, that's the way it works. Yeah. Rights holders get first crack, and then so on and so forth.
Probably got young Kim.
I could definitely didn't get him. Well, the Yankees got him again the next night.
Yeah, those 2 nights were just amazing. That's the only time I hit John Sterling.
What do you mean?
The second night that, who was it? Tino who hit it, or the second night was Tino or Brocious?
Well, the first night was Tino, and the next night wasn't it? Wasn't Posada?
I think it was Brocious.
Brocious. Okay.
Right, so he hits, and we never cheered in the booth or anything like that, but just the sheer unlikeliness of it all happening.
Right.
If you listen to John's call, he stands up and goes, it is all right.
Yeah.
And we see it's going out, and we see, wow, this is all happening again. And I just start punching him in the ribs. And you'll hear him go, because he doesn't skip a beat, but like he's getting hit.
That wasn't one of his rules of engagement back in 92.
He said, don't ask me my age. Don't punch me in the ribs. And don't be alarmed. I sometimes talk to myself.
Don't hit me in the chops during a Game 5 moment for the ages. Yeah, man. And Game 3 was when George Bush threw out the first pitch.
I'd say that
was unbelievable.
Yankee fans don't want to hear this, and I understand why. That might be the greatest World Series ever played because you have 3 forever games.
Right.
And then, as you mentioned, when I found out, right before the game that there were snipers in the buildings across from Yankee Stadium.
I saw them get into position.
Right, and then we find out later that the president is from the neck to the ankles in Kevlar.
Yeah.
And for him to throw that pitch, I think is still one of the most amazing things of all time.
A dart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spurred on by Jeter. Don't bounce it. They'll boo you.
And he steps on the line walking to the mound.
Yeah.
If you watch the video again, which obviously
it was the greatest bleep you to the world.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand out here at the World Series like this is the juiciest target imaginable.
Right. Go ahead, get me.
At the World Series between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks, and I'm going to throw this dart right down the middle of the plate. And I remember that night. It was wild, and you'd see the 4 train pass by in right field, and every single time it came by, I shook. It was jittery.
It was scary.
It was jittery. It was a jittery moment in time, obviously.
It was joyless at the beginning. Then once the game started, I think it was a tonic for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, in all honesty, the big moment for the Met fan in the corner was when the Mets came back and played right after 9/11, though.
Right.
And Piazza hit that home run against the Braves.
Mm-hmm. Incredible call by Howie Rose, too.
Right. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.